God.
Good afternoon, freelancers. I'm going to do a Gaz. Javelins, freelancers, welcome to another show of AnthemCast. I am but one of your hosts. I am Binary Numb. So thank you everybody for being here. I know there's a lot of you and a lot of anticipation for the 3 people I have that I'm sharing the screen with today. So this is a one-off. This is so it's a 5 days to launch. So we're having a little bit of a round table party. So some of these guys, so I just want to let's start with the introductions. We're going to go clockwise. So a friend of mine who's been a friend of mine for many years, done a lot of content with, is a man of many words and many great opinions. P3T3, would you introduce yourself, bro?
I'm Pete. what would you like to say? Now, yeah, like I say, we've done lots of things together over the past few years, from Division, Destiny, and now obviously Anthem. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to see where we're going forward. It's different, but some more of the same. Obviously, we come from the Division as a main background, so the kind of looter shooter, open world style of games that is something we love. That's how we got to know each other, and that's kind of where our passion's been for so long. So taking that into Anthem's going to be pretty cool, and I'm excited for it.
Oh, good. Well, lovely to have you here, sir. And then going next around the table, we have a man with the sultry tones, the voice that we listen to while we go to sleep instead of touching our wives. It is William.
Okay. Wow. Hi, guys. No, must be. Hey, what's going on, all you fantastic freelancers? Thanks for having me on Binary. It's good to be back.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, no, I think the last time we actually did anything was when we had a Pokemon battle.
Yes, that's correct.
So it's lovely, great to see you on camera. I find with YouTubers, they do so much YouTube work, but they're always talking behind a screen. They're always behind the game that they're talking about. They're never in front. So, and you've been going on with streaming as well, haven't you? You've been doing a bit of streaming.
I gave it a little shot. I mean, it's fine. I don't have a huge issue with it, but I remember Bags and I had a conversation a little while back. Bags said he would rather work 8 hours on a stream than work 8 hours on a video. I'm the exact opposite way. I'd rather work 8 hours on a video than 8 hours streaming. That's just me.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with Bags on that. Actually, I find
he made like 3 videos in 4 hours. I took 4 hours for one, and it was like 7 minutes long.
I've got to agree with William. He's got it right. I'd rather be sitting there making videos than streaming.
Well, yeah. Well, the screen is split. We definitely have the streamers on the left and the YouTubers on the right. So yeah, there we go. And the next man around the table, who's also celebrating his 113th birthday today.
Yes.
But no, it's not really. It's his 32nd birthday today. 34th. 34th birthday. But we've been doing. He's been around. He's definitely been a big Anthem streamer, and he's just come up. Literally, so you've been doing it just under a year now, right, Bags?
I started in. Hi, by the way, guys in the chat. Hi again. There's no recording. I'm still here again. I started in April 9th, I think. The first episode we did was with Lupo to the rescue. He's a mixer partner, good friend of mine. He's also doing a similar podcast over on Mixer. And then he started rolling, and people were like, "What are you gonna do?" Like, we didn't even have a set date for the launch, right? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep going, right? So I was sure that Bioware would just keep releasing a little bit of info every week or so, and if there was nothing, then we would probably find a topic and stuff to talk about. So yeah, it's been almost a year. It's been like 10 months, I think. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. And you've actually come on bounds too. Like, I know whenever you go to stream, you're always sitting in the 100 mark views. You're on that road to partnership. So do you know what? It takes a lot of people a lot of time to get where you are today. So commendable, my friend.
I think I rode the Anthem wave well enough. I never did surfing, but I think I surfed this one well enough. It's like we didn't. At the beginning, it was like a couple people. I'm very thankful to the few Bioware devs that befriended me from the beginning, and they were like, we like what you do, keep going. Like they keep pushing me from like behind the scenes. They know who they are, and by pushing me behind the scenes, they were like, keep going. You're doing great. They that kind of thing. Not like promoting me or whatever. A lot of them are actually there's a few of them that are actually subs to the channel, so that feels amazing to begin with. And then no, I just kept going. At the beginning it was like slow. It was like a few people, but it started picking up in like December, January when after the alpha. Yeah, after the alpha, I definitely saw a lot of people coming in. So yeah, I hope. I mean, I got rejected actually last week for the partnership, but I'm gonna try again in a few months, and we'll see.
Hey, well, best of luck to you. Everybody in chat. So obviously there's a lot of you, and there's going to be a lot of questions flying around, and we're going to try and cover as much topics as possible. So we're sort of setting around 90 minutes. If it does go over, it does go over. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Or it could end at 60 minutes because you've all disappeared and you're found something better to do. So, but hopefully that won't happen. If you do have any questions specifically, just so that we can see it actually stick out in chat, if you don't mind either tagging one of us, which will obviously be at Anthem Universe, at Your William, at AI Bags, or at P3T3TT, just so it highlights one of us in chat, so we can make sure it's picked up. That would be fantastic. How is everybody in chat today? Hopefully we're not going to see any smashing of Fs as we start talking, and hopefully everything goes through as properly as well. So I think what we're going to start with, and it's something that a lot of creators don't actually get the opportunity to do or talk about, right? Which is actually what the hell actually even made you want to do content specifically around this game? Why is it that a game like this would want to make someone give up their life, right?
Basically,
and make content for people that they have never met, never seen, and majority of the time go presumably unthanked, right? In some cases, you work 40 hours and get 2 views, and you'll pick a picture up with a meme and you'll get like 50,000 views. So
yeah.
Going around the table, I guess let's start with Pete. What is it about Anthem that made you want to jump into specifically Anthem?
For me, obviously, originally finding out it was a looter shooter, so that like popped my ears up straight away. I was like, okay, this looks interesting. And then seeing that I could fly around in an Iron Man suit, I was like, I'm definitely looking at more, and getting to see the open world, how beautiful it was, how big it was. They were kind of my initial draws, and then obviously seeing the gameplay that we had out of E3, seeing what the action would be like, seeing how the javelins work again, going back to the flying around, jumping around, the movement just looked brilliant. I was like, do you know what, this looks like? That it's that kind of game that I like. It's got the RPG elements in it. It's got the looting, the shooting. It's got the build, the kind of build diversity that I like from the Division, where I can really go into breaking down a character and putting these builds together to suit me, rather than a generic, oh, you're a healer build or you're a support build. It's like, no, I want to specialize in lightning, fire, ice, whatever. I can build a build to me. And kind of specialize it to that, and that combined with the world and the javelins and everything else is like, this is a game that just ticks all the boxes for me. There isn't a box yet that I've seen unticked. There's a few question marks in some of them, but there's no boxes as of yet that have gone, no, that's a cross, I don't like that. Everything's been a tick so far. There are a few things I want to know more about. Yep. But it's a lot of ticks, and that's why I want to play this game, because it's fun, it's enjoyable, and I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people kind of don't put into games. Like, I want this, I want that. It's like, is the game enjoyable to play? Yes, I'm going to play it. If I don't enjoy it, I'm not going to play it. If I like it and I enjoy it, then I'm going to play it. And of course, the part of being a content creator is, if I'm playing something and enjoying it, I'm going to want to make videos on it. And being able to sit here when I think William will say this, like, you're really into a game from a creator point of view when you just start writing a script and you start writing this video, and out of nowhere it's like, wow, I've got like 6 pages of a script here, and I've just gone rambling on because I've just been so passionate about what I'm saying, and I've got so into it that you then kind of have to sit back and go, right, I'm just going to go and take 5 minutes, and then I'm going to come back to it, because you kind of just really start, everything just rolls off the tongue because you're enjoying it. You know, and you see that a lot in creation when content creators don't enjoy what they're doing. You can see it, you can hear it in their tone of voice, you can see it on stream, you can, you know, and that's the big point. I won't cover games I don't like, and I will cover games I do like, and Anthem's one of them ones that I like, and that's it, really.
Very great, man. What about you, Bags? Because so unlike Pete, right? So Pete will sit in between, we'll say, what William and we do, which is obviously streaming and YouTube. But you chose to go down the path of creating a stream-based channel specifically around Anthem originally. And I know your story is you didn't start Anthem Insider. It was a duo, right? But then you've taken over and created what is the monster that is Anthem Insider. Yeah,
it was a team, but yeah, people were like on and off, and yeah, I kind of took over and I downscaled the project just to one person myself, because I was like, I can't pay anybody else, so they're gonna be working for free, and I didn't know how to do things. But yeah, no, initially I wanted to. It's hard when you say that for yourself, but I've been told that the articles I do are decent. Right, it's not my native language. I do make grammar mistakes and stuff like that.
You speak and write English better than I do, my friend. So yeah.
Thanks, dude. I enjoy writing articles.
Who
what are you talking about? I speak the language of the Anthem. I enjoy writing articles and then putting all the sources at the end and all that, and like linking to things. I'm more into that. But then I also did want to grow the channel, and I did stream before, right, in another channel, and I'm like, this doesn't go anywhere. It was just one of those like 0 viewers streams, or like a couple people viewer streams. And the thing people don't know about Twitch is that you have to bring in an audience from outside of Twitch into it to watch you. Like, you have to give them a reason to know who you are, to come and watch you. It's not like YouTube. At some point, like kind of like William's channel did happen, it just got picked up by the algorithm, right? And all his hard work didn't go to waste. And on Twitch, you can just like keep streaming every day, and 2 years down the road, you still have like 10 people watching you. You're not going anywhere. You might be I mean, I'm gonna give you an example. I was watching the #1 player on the ranking in PUBG back in 2017 on Twitch, and the guy had like 20 viewers. Like, how does that work? And yeah, basically you need to build a community is what I'm trying to say. And I was like trying to figure out a game or something that's going to interest me enough to stay involved with it and follow it for a long time. And when I saw the trailer at 2017, I'm like, this is it. This is a good idea. And I'm doing the same now with Apex Legends. I'm definitely gonna do some content for that as well.
Whoa, stop swearing. It's Anthem only. No, I'm joking.
I know. I'm gonna do some Apex Legends as well. So yeah, basically those were the reasons behind mine. I like the game a lot. I was gonna play it anyway, and I'm like, I'm gonna be researching this anyway, so I might as well look how I can do more about that, right? Maybe make it like a career path somehow. And I initially, like I said, I joined Anthem Insider's initial team as a writer for the blog, and then it evolved into me taking over, and yeah, here we are.
Here we are today. And then the final man, which is the just come out of the literally blossomed like a young flower out of nowhere, right?
Poetic.
literally just come, you know. A year ago it was like, who's William, right? He's married to Meghan Markle and he's a prince, right? But no, this guy.
Okay, all right.
This guy, William, has come out of nowhere. So Your Anthem, you've created a channel from the beginning, and I suppose this question probably will resonate more to you than anyone else. Is you've entered the world of content creation, especially and specifically around gaming, and specifically around this game,
right?
And you've chosen to give up your life, your education, you know, your fatherhood, to just spend time making videos. Why?
Well, kind of, sort of. So, I guess in a way I have been doing content creation for a while. I was in radio, I was in television production, I was in all this other good stuff for a very long time. 5 years. That's a long enough time. And afterwards, I thought that was it. I had my voice. I did voice acting every now and again, but I never saw myself making videos, making content. Now, I'm a huge BioWare nut, especially a lore nut. Always have been, always will be. And I don't know. At the time, I think it was shortly before E3 2018. Well, at E3 2017, I saw Anthem. I've been following it since it was called Project Dylan. And I was like, oh my god, this is the game. Oh my god, this is the game. This is an amazing game. Let me look up some videos on YouTube. Okay. Yeah, there's one every 3-4 months. You know what? And I think it was like about a month before E3 2018. I said, you know what? Screw it. No one's covering it on YouTube. And believe it or not, that's how I found Bags, and that's how I found Freelancer Codex, and I found you all on Twitter when I first became a content creator, George.
Yeah.
But it was weird. I've never done anything like this before. And I said, you know what? I've got the background. I like the production work. I've got the voice. And even though I hate my own voice, I've got everything I need to do to produce at least something for people that were like me, that didn't have a source of Anthem information aside from the podcast, and that wanted something more regular.
Yeah.
And I started that. I was the first person on YouTube to exclusively cover Anthem, which felt really good and was a really cool experience. We grew very quickly. Other people found out that, hey, Anthem's a sweet spot. It's working for this guy who's never done content creation before, and popped in and started. Someone said to me once, "Oh, we're all doing the same things." Yeah, it's kind of because we all are using the same information. We're copying the same dev tweets. We're mentioning the same articles. We're only putting our unique spins on it. Even then, there's only so much you can do. That's what I'm looking forward to so much when Anthem releases. I won't have the same video as, say, Pete here will, or as Ryan Central will, or whoever else there is covering Anthem.
Yeah.
Hey Ryan, by the way, if you're watching, good buddy.
Is Ryan in the chat? I don't think so.
No, but
he's probably busy.
One of the things
Probably
that
playing Apex.
Yeah, odds or Overwatch. One of the things I always emphasized though was community. We learned this back in production work and in radio work. If you don't have a community behind you, or believing in what you're doing, or you're saying, or whatever, what's the point? You're just making stuff for whatever reason. So I did a two-facet approach. I did the news and content approach on YouTube, and then developed the community along with it, and it's worked perfectly, I'd say. It's worked very well.
No, it has. No, you've you've literally I've not seen a channel skyrocket as quickly as yours for a very long time. So it's a dedication. It's a dedication to some of the work that you do. So well done, sir. Well done.
It definitely shows you know what you're doing. Before we go anywhere, George, so you're always sitting in that chair and you're always asking everybody questions.
I'm always sitting in this chair.
So
it's got a comfy arse groove, that's why.
Yeah, but people don't normally get to ask you questions. So the same question you just asked all of us, but to you, Mum.
Because I'm a narcissistic prick. No, I'm joking.
Got the last part right.
The content creation for me is so I'm a great believer of the spoken word with them, and as a podcast, I've always been somewhere that I've always resonated to. And I think that goes probably more to my age, is content and listening to stuff on the radio and stuff like that. So I think to be able to talk about something that you actually enjoy, and I live in a world where gaming, actually my actual real world, gaming doesn't exist, right? It's all professionals. It's all professionals. It's high business, right? And there's lots of money at stake. And if I talk about games, they just look at me and go,
like you're the weirdest guy in the room.
You're a man-child. And I'm like, actually, I don't talk about it. My wife looks at me very odd, and she gets very frustrated with the amount of money I spend on my games. And my daughter, thankfully, also plays games, which is great. But for me, it's my own little space, right? It's my own space where I can talk to like-minded people. I can build a community and so, that's really what my passion is, right? So my passion is actually the community side, right? So I started back in the day with a community called Dark Zone Report, which is specifically around obviously the Division, and I sort of took that over myself, a bit like you did, Bags, up back in the early days. And this is a few years back now, and just grew and grew and grew. And then when a game like Anthem came along, which sort of sits along the same, and I was too late for Destiny, right? The Destiny train was already well and parked at the station. The moment I saw Anthem, I was talking to Gaz, and we were watching the E3 reveal live ourselves. We were doing a news podcast at the time. We were like, dude, we got to cover this. And that's where we started. So everything I do will always start around the community first. So that's where our Discord and our Twitter was the first things, and then we did the podcast, and then we started with YouTube, and now we do streaming, right? So Gaz does the YouTube side, and I do the streaming side. But the former, it's always the people first, and that's the bit that I enjoy the most. But then also, I've grown to love to do streaming. I've loved the direct interaction with all the people you get in chat. There isn't actually anything quite like it. I sort of understand where webcamming and web girls come from now. It's like, if you're into that type of thing.
Is that your subtle hint?
But I understand why it's been.
Desire.
I think what it is what I actually understand is how that has been around for a good 20 years, right? And streaming like this hasn't. But I understand why now as a medium it can be enjoyed to people who want to be involved, and there are for people who just want to sit back and lurk and watch people enthusiastically talk about games that they enjoy to play, and which is why it's an incredible medium. So everybody who's in chat today, thank you very much, and we're going to try and, so if you want to chuck your questions in.
Basically, guys, what George has just said is if someone drops a biddy, he might show a tiddy. That's pretty much what he just said. I've been trying to respond to questions as we've gone through.
I love it.
William, as one of the law guys, maybe you can answer this question. What's the crack with the ciphers?
What do you mean?
What are they? What's their kind of role in Anthem? Who are they? What are they?
The ciphers are a group of individuals who have a natural affinity to hear the anthem of creation. Corvus, which are kind of like the, I don't know, Homeland Security, spies, whatever, a couple centuries ago, introduced them to Ember, which is this material that's kind of like the byproduct of the anthem of creation that we use to build our suits and all manners of technology. Our javelins are made out of Ember. And they introduce it to these ciphers, or these children who have an affinity for, or affinity, I don't know however you say, affinity for the anthem of creation. They can hear it, boost their natural abilities, and they're able to gain abilities such as telecommunicate powers, telepathy. You'll notice that in our javelins, whenever the HUD goes down, not all of them have like eye slots or whatever, eye slits, so you can see through it, or see through what you're doing. They're actually sending you images of the world directly into your mind, and they can reach out and connect with other people and patch them into your mind, and or what have you, and do that. That's essentially a cipher. They need these chairs, and called amplifier chairs, right, guys?
True.
Yeah, amplifier chairs, and they sit in, they patch in, and from there, they're your eyes, I suppose, and your eyes and your mind.
Yeah, they're projecting basically the world into your mind, so you can fly into the suit because you can't see outside of it. It was one of the things I was speculating so hard about it at the beginning. I was like as soon as I saw the trailer and she goes in, and like the ranger thing comes in, I'm like,
it's all black.
Is that a screen? Yeah, it's like a screen. Like, how do they see? How do they see outside? It's because like in modern fighter jets and like especially tanks, mostly they're the brand new like 2017 and like later models. You can't see outside. There's like video feed from outside, yeah, and like lidar and radar and everything, and like you don't have a visual to the outside. Like you're locked inside basically.
Could you imagine what that's like?
Oh.
Awesome.
Yeah, I guess awesome would be the word for sure.
Really?
I got a thing for tanks.
Well, I don't know. Could you imagine as a being actually relying on a telekinetic connection to someone sitting outside of what is happening somewhere else, devoid of your physical experience, telling you how to be able to pilot and see?
It's a huge trust.
Could you imagine? Like that's like
it's a huge trust thing. You would really have to trust your cipher, I guess. To not fly you inside, like, I don't know, an ancient titan's belly or something.
George, would you trust Gaz to be your cipher?
Hell no. Like, if you could just imagine that, though, it's profoundly incredible to think. I suppose the closest you could draw along to that would be something like Pacific Rim, right, where you have to share half your mind. With someone to be able to fight through. I think that's probably the closest thing. But it's a fascinating piece of lore, though, that you can jump into. And I know that you and I have probably seen a little. William have probably seen a little bit more of the lore than what obviously most people have since we've been to the capture events, right? But
oh my god, so much to discuss and cover and make videos on. Oh my god!
But Anthem is doomed.
Oh my god. Anthem's a dead game. That was my favorite comment from this morning. I was reading on one of my videos.
It's an incredible lore story. So where do you think that given that lore is going to play such a heavy part to the game, what is it? What do you think that people are going to be most drawn? What draws you specifically the most? And we'll just go around the table again. About the lore that drew you in, because let's face it, we saw more of the lore than we did gameplay when the game came around, right?
Yeah.
For
I
me,
suppose,
no, you go. Oh well, for me,
George, host first, yeah.
For me, it's always it's this space opera, right? So I've always been a huge fan of space operas. Star Wars, Star Trek. Well, we've got Babylon 5, we've got Serenity, we've got. Oh my god, there's loads that can carry on, and just it's the fantastic cool way of vision that you can have, that everything that you do doesn't always need an explanation, right? It is just the way it is. And I think that's where games like The Division will struggle with its lore, because it has to be precise in the reality we live. And the big thing for me, especially around Anthem, is because it's so it's not whimsical, but because it's such space opera. Everything you see can be the creation without explanation, and I think that was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah,
it was created in an amazing way. Like I think Jay, I don't know who starts the thing. Like who comes up with that idea? How do we? I don't know whose job description is to figure out how do we explain these systems to the player, or how do we make up an excuse for it. Like the fact that they can literally make, I don't know, a flying keyboard that shoots lasers out of its keys, right? Like literally they can make that and be like, the Anthem touched the keyboard and this is what happened. Like they can do it. It sounds ridiculous, but they can do it.
They want.
Yeah, they have all this creative freedom to do literally anything they want. They can implode the planet. They can do anything, absolutely anything. And I'm very interested to see. There's a very part like the Iron Serpent, I think it's called, something you go through. It's like a huge it's kind of like portal thing. I saw it in one of the videos. I didn't memorize it exactly. It looks like it's like a portal that you go through, and it keeps you like, you fly through like some sort of like Anthem kind of like weird force something. It looks basically like a wormhole. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I can see that being used in so many creative ways. You can even go to other planets or something, I guess. It would be awesome. There's also this portal thing in the I don't remember the area exactly. It's called something observatory, and like they can do anything.
Yes,
they said
Jones Squire 438 literally has said. It was the fact that the freelancers have to defend those that can't, and I empathise with that.
I like that a lot.
That says a lot about you, my friend. So Dan, that's a great statement.
Like the Diesel says, Just call it a Stargate. There's a literal Stargate in there. I would like to activate it and see where it goes. And then you have this. There was a piece of lore that said that they found that. Spoilers, by the way. That there's a machine, there's a shaper relic, which is active, and that is what seems to be causing the rip stream. So maybe down the road we find out a way how to shut those things down, and we can escape the thing. Like, literally they can do anything they want. It's like you said, soap opera. It's literally Star Wars. And what is this? Midichlorians. What is this? Like, it's the Force. How did you know where to shoot? Oh, it's just the Force. Like, they can do anything. Like, it doesn't have to make any sense. They can explain it through the lore, and it's great.
By the way, George, just real quick, I gotta say, I'm really enjoying this Colossus gameplay. You gotta teach me how to play the Colossus, and I really enjoyed how you spent 5 minutes trying to open up those cages by shooting at them.
So this was at the capture event, and I hadn't played this yet. And that was funny. But then
the thing is, you're spending more time up in this footage than you did in the entire weekend when we were playing.
But this is in an endgame build, though, right? So what's interesting? This is it is in an endgame build where the actual Colossus is a tank, right? Yeah. So it allows me to stand in the middle of everything and try and figure out how to open boxes that can't actually be opened with it unless I did something else, which I didn't know.
So
I want to. Sorry, go on.
No, you go on ahead, Petey.
No, that's right, because I'm going to change the topic in a minute to something else that has been put in chat. So you go first.
Okay, well, as far as what drew me to the lore of Anthem, obviously Bioware lore nut, but they're doing this, something really cool, and they're called Grabbits. No, definitely not for the Grabbits. But my whole thing has been, you've got this energy force that's sentient, and it can do whatever it wants whenever it wants. You've also got this big, beautiful, dangerous world where in a lot of Bioware games, you're the underdog, or doing some path of redemption. That's kind of a typical Bioware staple. But it's that they've got this... what really drew me was the society. It's a knightly society, or it's a knighthood, or whatever. Very... how do they put it? A very Arthurian society. You'll notice I've got a wallpaper screenshot right now of the castle, Fort Tarsus, and you look around. Oh, yeah, this is a castle. It's not a fort, and it's beautiful. It's lovely. It's the society, the characters, the personality behind it, and this ever-changing and dangerous world is just unreal.
Yeah, no, that's right. And I think my biggest question is how are they going to... And just sort of leading on to that, and this is probably one of the biggest things for me that captured my interest in the game the most, was when John Warner was talking about a lot of the game, and I've seen a few of his interviews, and actually Kathleen Rutzer also mentioned this, was that the lore specifically allows them to change the game without any particular reason, right? So the Anthem of Creation
no plot holes either.
No plot holes or anything like that. They can literally, at a whim, a Shaper Storm, or a relic, or something to do with around what the Shapers left behind can turn on and instantly change the world that we're in. Now, I literally hope from the bottom of my heart that they really embody that, and we start to experience what that actually means, because it's always something that they've always rung that bell, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the fact that they've created a lore which allows them to just effortlessly change the environment that we play in is something very special.
Absolutely. It's unique. They could do a lot with it. And I agree. I hope they do embody that. Anything can happen at any point in time. That they could literally change the world at the flip of a switch. I hope they really, really, really work that in and make it happen.
Because it could also be an event that you miss.
Very true.
As a gamer, the anticipation that something is going to happen without us actually knowing. Or I've got to work all week, I'm going to be away all week, and then all of a sudden a Shaper event happens, and then I come back and it's changed, or there's a load of stuff happening on Twitter where everyone's up in I don't know, talking about the fact that the game's changed. They have the moment to be able to create that. So I genuinely hope that is embodied by the team here.
For sure.
Pete.
Yes, lore. Sorry. Not normally something I actually get into. I've gamed for years on a limited time scale. So games to me have always been about actual gameplay rather than stories. If I enjoy playing the game and there's a reason to play the game, not so much in a story point of view, but in a progression point of view, then I'll play it. My first kind of real jump into any form of story lore for a game was Destiny. And I really kind of got into the whole backstory of the game with that. And kind of going forward, that's definitely something I want to know about in Anthem. You know, I love the world. I'm loving the look of the gameplay and everything else. But it's like, I have so many questions as to why. Why is this like this? Why is that like that? And they're kind of the things I'm looking forward to finding out as we go forward. I won't be having any spoilers in it. You know, it's one of them. I don't want to spoil it for myself. I actually want to find out why and look into it myself and actually spend time reading up on the lore in game and finding out, you know, the backstory to the freelancers, the sentinels, and all of that kind of jazz, and seeing just what makes them and why they do what they do. I'm excited for it.
Same here, dude. I wasn't big on the lore. Like, I usually skipped, you know, quest lines and stuff. But now I want to know. Yeah, I want to know. Like, I'm more about like blowing things up, but yeah, and like doing like the stronghold races and stuff we did. But like, I want to know. Like, why is the Swarm Tyrant there? I mean, yeah, we kind of know, but I want to know what happens. Okay, we killed her. Did we stop the attack? Did we stop the scars? Did they have enough, you know, acid weapons stockpiled up? Do we have to go to another location and destroy those? Like, it does keep you on your toes a little bit.
I think the trailer, was it the trailer we got yesterday or today? I can't remember because I've had like next to no sleep. But, you played it this morning, where we saw the Colossus outside fighting, and the Ranger kind of took the kid off, and the Dominion went in and kind of just fucked everything up, you know. And to me, it was just like, wow, now I need to know more. Like, that just opened my eyes. Like, George, you know this, but I've never played a BioWare game. Kind of leading up to Anthem from back at E3. So I was actually out at E3 and I was talking to George, and I was like, there's this game called Anthem and it's amazing and I want to know more. And he was like, dude, you've never played a BioWare game, you've got to know about the story. From a storytelling point of view, they are brilliant. And I've tried to go back and play the Mass Effects and things like that, just to get a kind of experience as to how BioWare make a game. And I am looking forward to that in-depth storytelling because, like I say, it's new to me. I never really played games that did have story to them. You know, I was Call of Duty, Battlefield, things like that. And then as I got into Destiny, Division, and the kind of lore story of games came about, that's when I started to be like, okay, this is really interesting. And you play the game. I'll use Destiny as a raid, for example. You play the raid, you learn about it as you go through. Like, you learn the mechanics of the raid, and you maybe learn a name or two, and there's a little bit of dialogue from the ghost and things like that. But you don't really know who you're fighting and why and what the backstory to the characters is, because you have to go offline and, you know, onto a third-party app for Grimoire and stuff like that to find out about it. And that never really was my thing. But I ended up doing it towards the tail end of Destiny and into Destiny 2, and that kind of got me into the whole backstory of things. And then going back and playing those raids again with the knowledge of who's who and what's what and why we're doing this was brilliant. Yeah. And I'm hoping that Anthem kind of has that as well, so, you know, it can really drive its story into the game, and you haven't got to go out. Yes, there's elements of wanting to go out and find codex entries and stuff like that from fallen javelins and everything else, but from what I've understood from BioWare, they're really good at driving that story into the main game, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, but they've taken let's sort of dive into that a little bit further, right? They've taken a very different approach to their storytelling with Anthem, right? They've gone very almost Monster Hunter World-esque, where you're your Fortasis is your single player game, and that's where your story arc is delivered to you, right? That's where you build your relationships with characters within the game. That's where you understand and explore your lore, and then when you're actually out in the world of Anthem is when you team up with people, which is actually just it's fundamentally a different way in which you experience a BioWare game, right? You go back as far as Jade Empire, you go back as far as Baldur's Gate, you go back as, you're playing Mass Effect, you're playing Dragon Age, right? Which are all games that's delivered to you the story, and Star Wars Online, right? It's delivered to you in a way as you play through and progress, and as you get more powerful, that you then experience the story as you go, and you can experience it with friends out in the real world and not. But here they've actually fundamentally taken the choice to make it a very, very separate experience. How that from your game experience, right? And this, unless you've played something like, I can't think of another game that they've done it, that a developer's done this apart from Monster Hunter World, and I wasn't too enthralled with it personally. I didn't find it. I found it very, very disengaging that you'd have that the two-step scenario there. What about you guys? How do you feel that is being? How do you think their choice in delivery is going to affect how people engage with the game? Because they have the choice not to, right? They literally have the choice not to engage within the lore, right? Okay, there are main story arc checkpoints that you're going to have to go and do, but a lot of BioWare's nuances in the way, and the nuances that we love about BioWare and their storytelling, is it actually forces you to talk to those smaller NPCs through side missions and stuff. Then that's where the richness within the lore actually comes from. It's it pushes you to find more about that character. Whereas this way that if you just stick to the story arc, you stick to the story arc, and you're probably missing 70% of the effort that they've put into the story, which is with the other characters. How do you feel that is delivered? What sort of, do you have any worries with how that people are going to miss or not engage in that?
Anthem's definitely different from any BioWare game in the past. Most people are used to a BioWare story that takes up the entire game, and yeah, there might be some endgame or grinding or whatever. Mass Effect is a good example of that, where you've got this story that spans hundreds of hours. Anthem's unique in the sense that you could skip all the story if you want and go straight to the end game. But Anthem's world is large, it's vast, it's ever-changing for a reason. They want you to go and explore every last facet of this stuff. And I'm sure you're going to miss some part of lore. You're going to miss that one codex entry, or what did they call them during the play test, George? The bubbles, the domes that you'd fly through, and they give you codex.
Yes.
What were those things called? I don't remember.
No, I don't remember the name of them.
No,
they're little bubbles that you find are literally splattered around the place, right? You walk into them and they give you the...
Like the one in the demo on the dam where you just fly into it and it kind of comes up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And same with the mushroom as well. Yeah, there's a few of them.
Information about them.
Yeah, but you're always going to miss something. But that's kind of one of the cool things, going back and exploring through the same place again, which, by the way, Anthem's map is absolutely huge, and the verticality of it is insane. High, low, middle, down below, temples, ruins, you name it, they've got it. Caves. You will always miss something, I think, on the first run-through, and that's what makes it so exciting to keep playing back through these same areas over and over again. When you stumble upon this codex entry or lore entry or whatever. Happened to me during the capture event. I went through the same damn water cavern the same 2 or 3 times, and I think it was on the 3rd time there was a colossus like rotting down there that I wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't done some exploration. And found a really cool codex entry about this colossus knight who died apparently 200 years ago that you're just now finding his remains. And I was like, oh my god, what? What? I can't believe I didn't see this. And it's such a cool story behind this guy. That's what I like about Anthem, is the spontaneity of it, and you're never going to find everything on the first go through.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I think the way they're doing it is interesting because they're gonna allow the people that don't want to deal with the lore to just do their thing, and if they want to do it, they can go back, either make a new pilot or something, or do it with their friends that are just starting out or something like that, or they can make new characters with their friends, right, and enjoy the story if they want to. I feel like it's a better system. It's their experiment, right? Kind of like Ubisoft experimented with Division. Division 2 is not that different from the first one. The same as Destiny 2 is not that radically different than the first one either. Yeah. And Anthem is a new IP, so obviously they're kind of experimenting with it. And what they want to do is, because they said so as well, that they're testing how they want to make games from now on, where it doesn't take them 2 to 3 years to develop DLC stories for it, because there's so many plot holes, there's so many stuff they have to take into consideration that if they go down one path, then the other path that way just completely shuts. Whereas with Anthem, it has this like freedom where, yeah, you go that way, but Anthem, right? Anthem of Creation does this, and suddenly you're down the other path. And I feel like it's not gonna feel tacked on if they down the road they add more story, which they said they will. Story DLC is gonna be free, so I feel like the story that's gonna be added to the game is gonna make sense one way or another. And again, giving choices to people is better than having no choice. If you force those people that don't want to watch the cutscenes and stuff to go through it, you're probably gonna lose them at some point. If you don't offer the story, you're gonna lose the people that want the story. Like it's a very delicate system, and yeah, I mean they get some real talent to figure that out and implement into the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
What about you, Pete?
I don't really have much of an input in it, and
Okay.
I'm going to take a step back from answering that one because
Okay.
yeah.
Everyone in chat, what are your points around the lore? What is it that you specifically got you engaged when you saw the trailers? What was it that you saw about? Was it specifically around the lore that made you want to go, do you know what, damn, I want to play that game, and not just because you're a Tony Stark Iron Man fan?
Yeah.
So if we'll come on to that, or a cinematic addict, as some people would like to say. Yeah. So just thinking a little bit further on, then, we're 5 days from launch, right?
Yeah. Ridiculous.
So we fundamentally, it's crazy, right? It's come around really, really quickly.
I've been doing this for what, almost 8 months now, and you guys been doing it for a little over a year, almost a year. Jeez, Pete. It's here. It is finally here.
It is finally here.
I'm waiting that update on the Game Changers network to get the code. And then it's here. It's like a few days. That's it.
Yeah.
Early access on PC, and then the 10-hour trial on the on Xbox, and again PC for basic. But it's here. Like if people, because I'm gonna be streaming that. If people don't want to avoid spoilers, just don't come watch. But if you don't mind and you want to see what it is, then go ahead and watch. I guess all of us, if you guys are gonna be streaming as well. It's here. I can't believe it. I mean, at this point, yeah, I do, because we did the demo and stuff. But before the demo, I was like so nervous. I was like, it's finally happening. Like it's gonna show if all this work we put into it, is it going to be like a waste of time? And you're still not certain. Excuse me. Because you don't know what happens like a month later, right? Hopefully people stick around. I feel it has enough content to keep people in. Like I said, the update on March, starting Act 1, is going to be very important, and I'm glad they're doing it.
I'm glad
there's 3 strongholds at launch.
Like you were saying about the future content, I'm glad they're coming out of the gate so quickly with it. I think that's kind of, if we look back over the past couple of years at new IPs, Destiny, Division, Destiny 2, and quite a few other games. They've come out, they've been brilliant, but the dev team or the publishers, whoever decides it, seriously underestimated the gamers and how quickly they would burn through that content. And that was one of my biggest concerns with Anthem when we originally heard about what was coming at launch, 3 strongholds, this, that, and everything else. I was like, okay. So if I see myself playing on the 15th, by the time the 22nd comes and it's the main game, I'm already going to be hitting Endgame and bashing through strongholds and everything else. I'm going to start getting really bored really quickly if there's nothing new for me to do, or there's no reason for me to do what's already there. So for them to come out the gate themselves and say, we know the game's coming out with limited content, it's good content, we think it'll keep you busy for a while, but we're going to come out the gate strong and put this out, I think it's brilliant. And I hope that they keep up with the players and how quickly they're going to burn through it. But at the same time, I hope they don't try and cut corners doing it. I would rather wait a little bit longer to get good content than have a Destiny Dark Below where it was a poor DLC, and that obviously left a sour taste in people's mouths. And then you get that DLC come out, it's not very good, and you know it's going to be a few months till the next one, so people go away from the game. I would rather have less frequent updates, but bigger and better, than more frequent if they're going to cut things out and not be as good. But I'm glad they came out of the gate so strong and said, look, we know we're going to be short on a few things. Here you go. This is literally going to be weeks after launch. But I also wonder whether there's anything to do with competition as well. You know, they're also a business, and they're going to be a looter shooter. What else comes out in March? But you've got the Division 2 coming out. Is it also a bit of a business sense saying, okay, if we drop some new content around the same time as in Division 2, people aren't going to go and play that. They're going to stay on our game. It is a business as well at the end of the day. Is it a two-pronged attack?
That's a very good question. It's also a very good point because, yes, Pete and I both know, right? We are avid Division players as well, and my whole community thing started back with the Division. So the fact that I have my two biggest games coming out within a month of each other is basically like my wife finding out I have a mistress. It's like, I am literally stuck between a rock and a hard place. So it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be challenging, but I think there's also a very very big differentiator between the two games. And it's the same as where you have Destiny and the Division, and you're probably going to find that Anthem and the Division they're very two different games. And I think there's also a very, very different demographic that play the two as well, right? The Division, I find, and it's an absolute beautiful community. I find it's actually full of a lot of veterans. It's full of a lot of older players, sort of 25 to 40, and increasingly above 40 years old, right? Whereas a lot of the gamers, especially within the Anthem universe community, are definitely with those. They definitely sort of fit that younger demographic between sort of 15 to mid to late 20s, and I think it's just a different appealing. So it's going to be interesting to see where the games balance out with each other. But the fact that they are bringing content out of the gate, I think, is a great sign for continued investment, and for them also to prove to themselves, and I think also to everybody else, that the game is going to have content constantly. And BioWare have been doing a live. People don't realise this, right? But they run Star Wars Online, and they've been running that for years. Scrotal, right? They've been running it for years, right? They know how to deliver and run a game as a service, right?
They've definitely learned from their mistakes. As someone who played that game for almost 6 years, like from the alpha, I love BioWare. I just want this to be known, but they've dropped the ball a lot with SWTOR. A lot with SWTOR. And I think they've learned from their mistakes, and they're going to do better with it, with Anthem. They've been working on this content we'll be getting in March since November. And you're right. They're going to consistently have a flow of content coming. And even if they don't have like a new stronghold every other month, they've got the Shaper Storms. They've got ever-changing world events. They can add a new mode at any point in time, add a new type of mission to throw into the bunch, world events, etc., etc. That'll keep us occupied for a long time. And then adding new weapons, adding new inscriptions, because one of my good buddies, Grimslinger, pointed out that with inscriptions, they can literally make whatever they want without having to make a new model for it or whatever, and that can add all sorts of new varieties to builds. And there's an insane amount of stuff that they can
game
do.
up with inscriptions, can't they? They can massively change the game with just by adding in a few different inscriptions that weren't in the game beforehand.
And not just change it. Not just change it. When you want to add like a new boss, you don't have to make a new tier of armor models and their textures and everything, and make sure they don't clip with each other. It removes the armor part out of the team that works on the updates, because they already exist as cosmetics. So it's another team in charge for that. It's great. It's a great way to make a game. You separate the cosmetic part with the stats part. It's brilliant. It actually is. Like it might not be the game for everyone, but kind of like we can't not see the innovation in it, right?
Yeah.
So when you put like in a new boss and it drops a new item, that sword or so whatever, the weapon, yeah, it will have a model. But if it's like a new component or like a new legendary something, you don't have to spend extra hours working, so you can push out updates faster. That's what I think.
Yeah. There's a lot they can do.
So,
There was a question in the chat earlier that we skipped, which I missed. They were like, what are our community's like biggest fears and what we're looking for?
Oh,
just gonna bring that
Yeah,
up.
what we're
Top of
looking
my
for
head.
into the future. Yeah. Who wants to start on that?
So I'm looking for an ever-changing world. I want to have new things to do, and I want a reason to do them. So changing the world up, and I don't necessarily mean like by adding new areas all the time and things like that, but changing question systems, adding in new weapons, new gear to chase after, and things like that. Reasons to play the same thing again and again and again, because that's the thing with these games. Inevitably, you are going to get to a point where you have to keep running the same content while you're waiting for new content. So there needs to be a reason to replay the older stuff. You can do that a lot easier by adding in new gear, new weapons, like William said, adding in new inscriptions, new components and things like that. It gives you a small reason, but a reason to go back and play older content while you're waiting for new stuff. So I definitely want to see that. One of my biggest concerns, and the only reason I really have this concern, and I would probably have it with any developer making a game like this, is we can all sit here, and quite a few people have said it in chat, and I've seen it on Twitter a lot. Oh yeah, but they've seen the other games and they've learned from their mistakes. They can learn from the mistakes that Bungie have made, and they can learn from the mistakes that Massive have made. But the problem is, no one ever does seem to learn, and they all seem to make exactly the same mistakes. And the biggest thing that every single developer seems to do is underestimate how quickly their community will, one, burn through content, and two, get bored and go and play something else. That is the biggest thing that they do. They're like, yeah, we've got this covered, and they've given out a brilliant roadmap for content, but other games have also done the same, and they've still underestimated what people will do. It's about drawing things out, and I mean, we look at the Grandmaster difficulties. Look at how they were. Like, they need to be something more than just giving the AI a million more health. They need to be smarter. They need to move around more, maybe more AI. They need to come from different areas and things like that, rather than, just, exactly the same content, but they got a million more health, They need to change things up, and that's how you kind of keep people going. So for me, it's about whether they can deliver on that, or am I going to very quickly be at Endgame, have a build that I like, because I'm one of these players that likes one kind of thing. I'm the same in the Division. I have one build. It's a good build. I like it. I can do everything with that build. I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to go and experiment on it to try things out, because I like what I like and it works, and that's what I'm going to carry on with. And I hope that they can hit the nail on the head, and they have learned from other developers, and they don't underestimate how quickly people will go through things.
It's a very thin line.
Certain, but at the
It's
same
a very. Sorry, go ahead.
no, it's at the end of the day, it is also a new IP, and
Yeah.
like I said before, if you look back to Destiny, you look back to the Division when they first came out and the states that they were in, and you give them 12 months and look at where they get to eventually. It's a live service game. It's not going to come out. You know, I think a lot of people have to get it out of their heads that it's going to come out of the gate swinging every single all the way possible. It's going to be
There'll
amazing.
always be a day one patch.
No
We're always
problem.
gonna-
Always.
It's never going to come out and tick every box, have everything perfect. There is always going to be changes. There's always going to be way of life changes. There's always going to be certain things that they adapt to because of community feedback, and that's the biggest thing with these kind of games for me is that live service and the developers listening to the community. And so far, BioWare seem to have done that really well. Look at the what's it called, the social hub or the launch bay.
Yeah.
That is a direct thing from community feedback. You know, that would
Yeah.
not have been a thing if the community hadn't been vocal about it. So yeah, we'll see where they go. I'm excited. I have my fingers crossed. I think they will do a good job, but I'm also sitting back like I can see where it's going because I've been there with Destiny. I've been there with the Division. It takes 6 months to 12 months to really pick up pace and get to a really good place with endgame content and replayability and enough things to do to log on and play every day and things like that. We'll wait and see.
My thing
I think
is,
it's a thin line. Sorry, William.
no, you're gonna head back.
I think it's a thin line because I'm gonna use Realm Royale as an example. When you start tweaking it too much and listening to the community too much, you might end up with a game nobody wants.
Yeah.
Like which is exactly what happened to them. It was a great game for a month, and then they messed it up. And now I went back to it, like you said, Pete. Like go back to it afterwards and see what changed. I went back to it, 7-8 months later, and I'm like, what is this? Like it's a completely different game. And it's not fun, fun, and that's why it didn't, it didn't make a dent to Fortnite's community like Apex is doing. And you can say the same. You can say the same for the literature and the shared world genre, the Anthem is, and Destiny and Division and other games are in. It is a very thin line they step on, and my personal fear is BioWare listening to vocal minorities instead of making in-game surveys or something like that. Like, figure out a way. I'm sure they have way more smarter people than me over there working at BioWare that figure out a way to what is it called? Survey the players that actually actively play the game. Because if I'm enjoying the game, what usually happens is I'm not gonna spend my time on Reddit. I'm gonna fire up the game and play it. Right? I'm not gonna go and like argue with people on Reddit about what needs to be done or what. So there's a disconnect there with there's a disconnect there between those who are vocal online with those that actually play the game. So you wake up one day and there's a new patch and you're like, who asked for this? Because we didn't, right? And that's one of my fears. But community wise, what I've seen from the Anthem Insider community is if the 3 strongholds are going to be enough at launch. That's one of the major discussions lately. Obviously the microtransactions and whatnot, how much they're going to cost. Does it matter? Do you mind? Like things like that. The roadmap lately, those kind of things. Like we keep no speculation. We keep focusing on what's good. There's gonna be 3 strongholds. We played one. We've seen the other 2, I think, and we like them, so we focus on that. Like in my community, we focus on what's good instead of focusing what might go wrong. Right?
Yeah.
If and when it goes wrong, we'll figure it out then, right? We'll see. But yeah, there's no like big fear that I can put down in like a. I would say maybe the game doesn't have enough of a player base to stay afloat. That would be the biggest fear, I guess, for everyone. That's it. Sorry, William. Go ahead, man.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. My thing has always been, I'm not afraid about a player base. I'm not afraid because there's already a strong one there. They've been sticking it out for 2 years waiting for this game. Yeah, we've already got our negativity and our naysayers and all the EA. Oh my God! The number of times I've been called an EA shill in the last month has been
Do you know what?
lovely.
I have a prime example actually. Is we uploaded a video of just raw gameplay footage.
Yeah.
Just raw gameplay. There was no commentary, nothing.
EA money.
I was going to say it would help. I just been saying that it would help if I unmuted my mic when I was talking to you guys. Like, how much do you get paid by EA?
And
I'm getting EA. I'm getting paid in EA bitcoins. I don't know about you guys.
There's definitely a stigma because we uploaded some content footage of it was what freelancers do, right? It was just an early game story mission. And the thumbnail had the EA Game Changers logo in, right? Which we have to do because it's pre-game. Yeah, it's launch footage. You have to do it, right? And someone commented, "I love how biased EA Game Changers are."
Oh my God.
And we were like, "Did you?"
But there was no audio.
There was no voiceover.
None.
There was no opinion. There was nothing. It was very funny. It was very funny.
Here's the
Two
thing.
favorite ones that I've gotten within the last 24 hours. I got a guy saying, what was it? That I probably had to submit my script to EA before I could publish a video, and I said, "So here's the deal with EA Game Changers. They fly me out so I can get exclusive content for you all. I don't get paid a thing, and I do all this for you all. These are my opinions still, not EA's. And all they request is that we say for flying us out and paying what $1,000 to, if not more, per individual to travel them out there and get this footage out there. And we put 5 seconds in front of the video. This video is presented by EA Game Changers, when really we should say this footage is presented by EA Game Changers. But anytime I have the EA Game Changers logo, I have to make that whole disclaimer of, oh yeah, by the way, all opinions are my own. EA's never paid me, nor will they ever pay me to make anything about Anthem. These are all my thoughts and opinions as a hobbyist, an experienced gamer, and something I've got it burned into my brain now. I say it in my sleep. And then another guy was like, oh, EA Game Changer. Yeah, similar to your thing, like how unbiased can they be? And then another one was like, oh, this isn't Endgame footage. This is just from the demo. How can you get this stuff from the demo? Listen to the first 30 seconds of the video, please, before you make a dumbass comment like that. You're wheezing back.
People don't know.
What?
People don't know. I don't know if we are allowed to discuss how the system works, how the website, the GCN
no, not allowed to
website
discuss
works.
the website, but how EA Game Changers works is
they're fully transparent.
Cool stuff.
No, they're
basically, stop me at any moment if I start like breaking NDAs and shit. Basically, how I can explain it to people is like, yeah, you're a game changer for usually a specific game because you know a lot about it, right? That's why you're given the title and the opportunities for it, right?
Yeah.
You're already doing it. That's why they make you a game changer. They don't make you a game changer to do it.
Right.
So you're already doing it, and they are acknowledging it, and that's their way of doing it. Here's the thing. I became an EA game changer for Anthem, but I can switch over to Apex. I can switch over to Apex if I want to. Like, is Respawn paying me to do it? No. Like, why isn't Maxis paying me to do it? Like, it's still Maxis who is making the Sims. Like, it comes down to what you like. So you can be a game changer, and you can express your interest in anything. You can cover FIFA, you can cover Madden, you can cover like literally anything you want. They don't tell you just do Anthem or out of the door say nice things about it.
We can say whatever we want.
Nice. You do it because you're interested in it. Like it works the other way around. Obviously, they're benefiting from it, and you're benefiting from it as well because it's a huge title to have in your belt, right? It does open some doors. It does close some other doors, but like there's so many games in there. I'm not interested in FIFA. Like, if I do become interested in FIFA, what happens? Like, EA pays me to cover FIFA? Like, how does that work? There's no logic there. No. And I said it on my streams, like, William is a lawyer. please, William, explain to these guys how huge of a liability it is, or it would be, me recording one of the community managers telling me what to say about Anthem, and like putting it online anonymously. Like,
That's not. That breaks.
EA would shut down. Yeah, EA would immediately shut
not
down
immediately
and
shut
bankrupt,
down,
probably.
but
Yeah, they would probably figure out a little window to escape it, but the scandal would be like insane. The liability is like.
I didn't mean to get us off topic. My private and secret concern about Anthem is the microtransactions. That's the only thing that I'm worried about. Like I was saying before, I'm not worried about a player base. We've already got it. We've got toxicity already. It happens. We've got amazing people. We've got plenty of content. We've got some of the best developers out there right now. And we've got EA funding it as the publisher. We're going to be fine as far as content goes and variety goes and everything else goes. Always going to be a challenge. Always going to be something. It's the microtransactions that have me worried. Now, the screenshot that was shared, the Young Yas, Skill Up, and all those other clickbait negativity assholes that they were talking about, that was from the capture event, and we were told at the capture event not to record that screen.
Yeah, sure.
Not because they had anything to hide, but because those were placeholders, like Grandmaster 3 having what 9,000% additional health or 3,000%. I forget the actual number.
3,100.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That was a placeholder. That wasn't the real deal. And, of course, immediately the negative gaming journalists like that. But secretly on the inside, I know they're not going to do $20. And I know I've spoke with Silicosta about it at the one of the producers about it at the San Fran event. They're going to make it an even trade-off.
Yeah.
But I still worry about it.
Well, the key that we're not going to shy away from microtransactions, right? But the key thing is, and I think the biggest thing is, and I know Skill Up actually quite well, and I know Pete does, but Skill Up's been on a number of my podcasts across the years. And a lot of other guys have been as well, and I think, but it's an easy bandwagon to jump on, right? So I'm not going to touch on their opinion or anything like that. Right. However, I think the most important thing that I think people, and I think the majority, and the people they're appealing to, is the 0.02% of the gaming of the gamer community as a whole, right? The difference is, and it's the same as when, and for me, it's the same perspective I have when, when the VIP demo went live, right? I had like 1,000 people in chat, right? And the amount of people that were messaging me in Twitch chat going how angry they were that I was playing and they couldn't get in. They were like, why is it only streamers that can play the game and the rest of us can't? And it's actually that comment right there is actually the window into how you need to look at the rest of the gaming world, is that the only people you can see playing are streamers. But that doesn't mean that there aren't thousands more people playing. It's just you can't see it, right? It's just the fact that because we're in Twitch, right?
Yeah.
So the same goes again for microtransactions. It's like the money that we pay for it is completely down to time and how we value money, right?
There you go.
If you if you're on minimum wage and you earn $8 an hour, or in the UK you earn £7.5 an hour, right?
Try 3 in Greece.
I know. Well, Greece is going. Yeah, well, Europe's a different question altogether, right? But
that's why I'm doing this. I'm making more.
But if it's down to your value of money. For me, $20 is $20. It's not a huge amount. My daughter gets £30 a month pocket money, right? So for her, £30 is a lot of money. For me, I'm so far into my working career, 20 quid's not a lot of money for me, but it is to some people, right? The real question is how much is that $20 worth in your time, in game time spent? Is to how quickly do you want to get that? Do you want to grind out for a few hours, 4 or 5 hours? If I'm going to play a game for 3,000 hours and it takes me 10 hours to grind out for a new skin, is that in relative terms a long time? Or is I only play 2 hours a week, so for me that's going to take me a month. So actually, I'm gonna pay that $10. I'm going to pay that $20, whatever it is, to be able to get that skin. So whatever price they set, it's always going to be wrong for someone. But it's down to the value of how much time you spend to the value of your own money.
The thing also is everything that's going from microtransactions. Yeah, it's cosmetic. Yeah, it can be earned, and yeah, it all goes towards development or however they do it, going towards salary,
investors' pockets.
You name it. They do it and they use it accordingly. And I don't mind. Hell, I've spent $600 on Warframe in probably the last however many years I've been playing it since the alpha, if not more, for sure. And I do it because it supports the developers, and I value my time way too much to spend upwards of 40 hours grinding. That's an exaggeration. Maybe 20 hours grinding out a Prime Warframe or whatever. Yeah. And Anthem, I already know I'm going to spend $30 day one to have my storm look the way I want it to look from the get-go, and then earn the other cosmetics. I don't have an issue with that. My issue comes in where people I don't mean to be bashing Skill Up. I used to enjoy his journalism.
I'll do it.
he tweeted at Mark Dara, hey, so do we have an official thing on the pricing or whatever for the microtransaction? He says they're still being adjusted, and he's like, well, this doesn't give the audience, or this doesn't give gamers an accurate representation and doesn't help them make an informed decision about their purchase. All the cosmetics can be earned in-game. They don't change how you play. It's how and you can earn them. And you can spend money on them if you want. But
I've got a better one, William.
It doesn't affect how gameplay. It doesn't affect gameplay.
I think
it helps to make someone make an informed decision.
And I agree, and I do agree with you. But there is one side of his logic does make a little bit of sense. But however, it's that is like a ton weight being held up on a string of cotton. Is that the cosmetics and personalization within Anthem, right, is part of the game loop, right? How you look is part of the game loop, right?
Couldn't agree with that.
Which is why they developed the launch bay, right? Because there was no way for that social interaction to actually take place, right? So I suppose but that's the only thread he has, and that's the thread he's clinging on, right? It's like Brexit, right? You know, there was always this banging the hammer of giving money to the EU, and it's just there's always this one thing in politics, right, that people hang on to, and they will use that enchant until they're dead.
The thing is, I just want to chime in on what you're saying, George. And I've seen someone put it in chat earlier, and they said that about the whole microtransaction and everything. What it's proven, unfortunately, is that EA have a really bad reputation. Because as soon as Anthem was announced and EA and everything else, they got the shit bashed out of them. Apex has done brilliantly. It has, a loot box model to it. But you know what? They weren't announced. They had no publishing about it. They had no media coverage or anything. The game came out. People played it, realized it was good, and oh my god, it's a success.
Anthem well, only because of the free-to-play game that it's okay to have microtransactions.
Yeah, but they've got the same microtransactions, and this is what really annoys me the most with people like Skill Up. They put videos out and goes, Anthem can't have loot boxes at $20 or whatever it is. It's a disgrace. Yeah, Apex has exactly the same thing because it's a free-to-play game. It's okay. And like George said, your money is your money. You can earn them in game. You haven't got to spend any money. I'm not going to spend any money on them. I'm going to play my ass off in the game, and I'm going to earn them from in-game currency because, like George said, it's about the value of money to you. Okay, I don't have the money to put into games apart from buying them in the first place, so I don't do the microtransactions in any game, and I'm like that with all of them. So to me, it doesn't bother me whether they're £1, £20 or £30 because I don't buy into them. I earn them through in-game currency. The issue I have with microtransactions is when you can only get something by paying for it and not earning it by playing the game. And Anthem has said, well, you play the game for hours and hours and hours, you are going to get whatever it is you want. If you only play 2 hours a week, George, we know, George, you've got a brilliant job. You've got a well-paying job, a good job. That sometimes means you get less time to play. Okay, countless amount of times me and Appams have got 30 hours into a game in a week, and George has maybe had 3 or 4 hours because he's been stuck at work. And he might go, and we're like, oh, George, look at this cool cosmetic item we've unlocked this week because we played 30 hours in a week. And he's like, do you know what? I want that, so I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I like the look of it, and that's perfectly acceptable. Because that's up to him and that's his choice, but you can earn it in the game. And everyone shitting on a game because of a developer or some microtransactions, or sorry, not a developer, a publisher, okay, would Anthem, let's be realistic about this, would anybody hating on Anthem's microtransactions have the same issue with it if it was published by someone other than EA?
No, absolutely not.
Not a chance in hell.
Not.
Not
if it was
Red,
if it was CD Projekt Red, I'm willing to bet, like, I'm willing to bet on it that they would be like, oh, it would be like gods and like little angels flying around and like
Ubisoft has the same model, okay? Like, Ubisoft has a very similar model with the Division, and it's going to be in the Division 2. We know that, okay? Yeah. The packs are going to be back. You can earn things in game, but you can buy them as well if you want to. You can earn cipher keys to open these chests in game, or you can buy them for real money. Do you see anybody shitting on the Division 2 in the same way they are Anthem? No, because it's published by Ubisoft, not published by EA, and EA are just so hated, and that is why Apex Legends did so well and didn't get any heat, because they decided what was a better decision for them was to just release the game, not have months of marketing with EA as a publisher hanging over their head. They just went, do you know what, we're going to do no marketing for the game, we're just going to put it out there, let everyone play it. People played it and they were like, wow, this is brilliant, we love this game. They're not worried that EA are holding on to it and they're the publishers, because that is all they are. They are publishers, they're not the developers. And that's what needs to happen with Anthem. People need to get off their high horse. They need to realise that the game is a damn game. If you don't enjoy the game, and if you can't look past microtransactions in a game, then don't play the damn game. Don't sit there and hate and give everyone a bad impression of a game because you don't like a publisher or you don't like a certain aspect of a game, i.e. microtransactions. Don't say, oh, don't play this game, this game's going to be crap because, you know, it's got microtransactions in it. But when really you should be saying, this game is brilliant from a gameplay point of view, or from a gameplay point of view, it's this, 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 and this. Give the hard facts. And by the way, yes, there are microtransactions in there, but you can pay for them with hard-earned money, or you can grind your ass off and earn them. It really doesn't matter, because do you know what? It doesn't affect the game. If it was a pay-to-win, if the Devastator sniper rifle that was so powerful in the demo, if they said, we're taking that out of the game and that is going to cost you £10 in real money and you can't earn it anywhere else, I would just not play the game. But that's not what they're doing. And I don't see what the issue is with everybody. I really don't.
One thing I wanted to put like the icing on the cake, so to speak. I'm thinking about my cake, by the way. Is there's in-game cosmetics that you cannot purchase. So
yeah, you can earn them.
Yes.
There's earnable cosmetics. So I don't think there's an argument anywhere in this. Like, I don't see any logic behind it. Oh, this huge game with this huge story, right? Even if it's not that huge, it's still said to be 30 hours for the main campaign, and voiceovers, motion capture, paid actors, like 2 actors per NPC, by the way, 1 voice actor and 1 that doing the motion capture, and the 3D model. Like, all these things cost money. Apex doesn't have any of that. It's just a few voice lines. There's probably some.
Well, it's like we talked about earlier, right? The development cycle for a game
games
like Apex.
are not free. Games are not free. When they put out free content, they have to pay for it somehow. Okay, like millions of pounds of development, and these developers that make the game have to take a wage. They have bills to pay. They have lives to live. Development isn't free. You can give out as much free content as you want. A year's free content on a game, never pay for a DLC. They need to make their money somewhere.
Yeah, I feel with the info that we still have, right? When the game's out in 4 days. We'll see. I hope the cash up is in the game, because I want to. It was probably going to be one of the first things most people are going to check out. I guarantee you that. Nobody's going to check the story. Nobody's going to check the javelins. Nobody's going to check the gear or the strongholds or anything. Most people are going to immediately click on the cash store to see what it is. And if that thing doesn't look okay when it's out, I feel that's the most important thing right now. I feel it's even more important than connecting to the game. So I hope they've put it in the game for the early access, so people can see it and can put some ease in their mind. And I hope, I mean, people that want to wine, they will, like, no matter the price, even if you make it like $2 per skin, which again,
people will find a way to complain no matter what.
Yeah, I try to explain to people that it's not just a skin, because it's not a 3D model that gets applied to the skeleton rig, right, of the character. Like in, like, I don't know, Fortnite, you purchase the skin and it goes on your characters, like textures mostly. It is an actual model that needs to be animated. Make sure it doesn't clip, make sure it doesn't break the animation, make sure it doesn't work, right? So it's also something you can mix and match. So if you buy, I don't know, the Colossus skin that you saw in that leaked image, that thing you can just put on the helmet. You can put just the chest or the legs. It's not a thing that you just equip and that's it. You basically, I think there's more value to it than a regular skin. It's called an armor pack for a reason, because it's an actual armor set, kind of like an armor in World of Warcraft, but with no stats. So it's basically like a transmog set. It changes your individual parts, and then you can split it and use whatever you want. I think it doesn't matter at the end. Like my opinion is, at the end it just doesn't matter. There's no argument to be had at all. Like, it can cost $1 million. A billionaire is gonna buy it. It's obviously targeted to the billionaire, right? If it's marketed like $20, it's marketed towards the people that make, I don't know, 20, 30 an hour and can afford that, right? If it's marketed like at 10, 15, it's probably marketed for a wider audience. So we'll see. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because it doesn't affect your gameplay. It's not going to do more damage. It doesn't unlock you missions. It doesn't unlock you a character, which javelins might down the road be added into the store. I don't know. I hope not. Yeah, I hope not. Imagine the backlash to that, just because it's BioWare and EA is like deadly combo. But again, Apex, you buy the hero in the store with money. That's okay, I guess.
Yeah.
That if you don't have money to buy the hero, you can't play it unless you farm for like 2 weeks. So I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway,
we've beaten this going to a pulp for sure.
Next question. I've got a question for you guys before we kind of start wrapping up, because I did kind of have a list of things where I wanted to get your feedback on.
Shoot, Pete.
What's your thoughts on Endgame? Obviously, we know we got strongholds. William, George, I know you're going to be kind of limited into what you can say, but obviously we've got strongholds. We've got legendary contracts and things like that. The Shaper Storms. Okay, now I'm sure we all remember the Shaper Storms back at E3 when it was first announced, and they all ran and jumped into it and things like that. Yeah. I mean, what are your expectations personally for Endgame? And I want to start. I'll start with. In fact, Bags, we should go first because we don't know, and then they can do theirs.
Oh, they've seen the Endgame at the capture event. I mean, I have some info. I've talked to some of these guys. I hope that it's enough for people to keep playing the game. I hope it's just not just numbers, more defense, more attack, more this and that. I hope it's more variety down the road. I think we talked a little bit about it earlier. I hope they add more variety into it. Make the Storm Tyrant do a different attack. Make her spawn more spiders or something. Like
we don't know how Grandmasters 2 and 3 are going to work out. George, I mean, I just made a long video, almost 15-minute video on Anthem's Endgame and how all that works. If you all want to go check that out. But
the plug.
George, you go on ahead. I've got my stuff I'll say. You haven't talked in a few minutes.
Oh, that's all right. Well, I'm just a fantastic listener, as my wife
George
constantly
talks all
reminds me.
the time.
So Endgame for me. So so actually being at the capture event, and we will probably say that we actually haven't seen any different Endgame to what you guys have seen, apart from.
Okay.
Right, so we've seen strongholds. And I'm actually playing in the video right now a stronghold, which outside of the capture event that's the Temple of Scar, right? Yeah, Temple of Scar.
Really incredible.
So, it's a brilliant stronghold. But actually, the strongholds are part of the endgame loop, but it is not the full endgame loop, right? And that's what everybody sort of needs to understand, right? So, you know, things like cataclysms, things like, and then there are other areas that they haven't even talked about yet, that we will find that are going to be part of endgame. The biggest part of endgame for me, really, and this actually comes from my Diablo world, is going to be it's the builds, right? It's, you know, you play the Destiny doesn't do endgame very well, right? In my opinion, because it has raids, right? It has raids, yeah, but that's its endgame loop. It makes things more challenging. It doesn't allow you to change your hunter's play style dependent on a type of build that you do, because you're only changing a few bits, right? A true endgame for me is actually being able to really divulge and really dig deep into a build that allows you to specify and spec into very specific things and then min-max into those, which is something that the Division really does allow, and it's something that that this game, Anthem, is absolutely going to really, really allow you to do. Such as things like, you're playing the Colossus in the demo, and you're like level 15, and that thing is literally a wet paper bag with a shield, right? If you piss on it hard enough, it's going to break, right?
There you go. Whereas
in Endgame, the Colossus is an absolute damage dealer and an absolute tank, and it's just unfortunate you don't really get to see that. But you will be able to understand it once you get there. Yes, strongholds are part of the end game, and they're not the end. But though it's not the end game, right? It's actually not. And we even as part of VA Game Changers have still not been given the opportunity to really see that. Now, as far as
you're just getting money.
Exactly. I'm just getting money to turn up and talk.
Yeah, where's my check?
But the real interesting thing is, and I hope is that we're gonna see things, and you know, I've spoken to a few people here and there, is that we'll get to see things like Diablo Rifts, right? If we could start to see something like Diablo Rifts, which is when levels of Grandmaster to 1, 2, and 3 really start to make sense, and being able to really go deep into builds, that is where the real end game for me is going to be. Because my team can spec out to do specific roles in that season, that week, and we can literally go at it. And that for me is actual end game.
For me, the end game is becoming as broken as possible to take on these challenges. And I say that we're broken, not like your typical sense of broken. It can take the form of getting your ultimate back in
2 seconds.
In 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
You can do form of hovering forever in the storm. It's the combination of inscriptions, masterwork, and legendary gear, weapons, everything working in tangent in ways that it probably wouldn't work for someone else, or building it around your playstyle. You need to be as broken as possible to take on these harder and harder challenges, especially with Grandmasters 2 and 3 being relatively unknown what the hell they're going to do. We already experienced during Grandmaster 1, there were a whole lot more legendary enemies. And I'll go on ahead and address this because I just got this comment on one of my YouTube videos. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Someone said, yeah, no, the developers have confirmed it's only going to be a health increase and damage increase on the enemies. No, it isn't. George and I have played the endgame. We know what it actually is. Watch the damn footage. The AI do get more aggressive. They chase you down. They hunt you. They hurt you. A lot more than the others. Other enemy types will spawn other than the regular. There's going to be the elites and the legendaries. Elites, they get one additional move set. Legendaries, they have different behaviors and they have an additional move.
That's what I want to see, man.
Additional moves. The lesser titans, all they can do is their fireballs and then the fire slams that only go on one wave. The elites go and do 2 waves of fire, and they spawn their little elementalists, and then they have the heat-seeking tracers.
That's
the
good
legendaries.
To hear,
they have the damn chest beam. They have 3 layers of the flame and everything else. It's not just damage. It's not just health. It's
They've got more mechanics.
There you go. And for heaven's sakes, stop commenting on my damn videos that it's just the health increase. I know what I'm talking about, damn it.
Guys,
me a
open
second, I
challenge.
gotta go to-
Open challenge to anyone in chat. If you can get him to 1,000 comments on his most recent video saying increase health, then
I'm on it actually.
Someone drop a link in chat.
1,000 comments asking if there's increased health on AI and Grandmaster difficulties.
I respond to every last one of these damn comments too. I need to copy and paste a response. No, you damn idiot. Watch the damn video. Listen to what I'm saying. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Period.
All right, guys. So we're probably going to try and start wrapping this up because it is Bags' birthday, and he's got to go and stuff his face full of cake. So let's just sort of go around the table. Obviously, and I thank everyone for being here. And what we'll do is while we're going around the table, guys in chat, if you have any questions, anything that you want answered from the panel, then I suggest dropping that into chat now. And then as we go around the table with a final question from me, we'll look to answer them before we wrap up. So. Let's start with Pete and let's go around the table. Your anthem and then Bags. Your javelin that you're going to main and why?
I am 100% maining the Storm, without a doubt.
Why?
Because he's a beast. No, I really like the play style. Using the elements and the abilities and kind of being quick around everywhere, being able to whip around and do damage, be here 1 minute, here the next minute, and it's just like the play style for it is brilliant. I saw myself playing as a Colossus beforehand. I was like, yeah, big, beefy, tanky kind of Hulkbuster character. I'm just going to pick that chain gun up, I'm going to run around, and I'm just going to destroy everything and not take any damage. And then I started seeing gameplay of the Storm and all the elements and things like that. And I was like, that looks really, really interesting. That's not normally my playstyle. Going back to Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, anything like that, the kind of mage style isn't me. But I really like the look of it. I was like, I want to give that a go. And the second I stepped into playing as a Storm, and I used those abilities, and I just had so much fun. And then starting to get inscriptions on the builds and beef that build up. And I started playing with the build. I put my division hat on, and I was like, right, let's get into the numbers. Let's boost lightning damage and get onto the freezing of things and combo my own moves. And I want to be a bit more tanky because I don't like going down as much. I want, how do I optimize this build to make it do everything I want to do? And it just felt like the perfect class for me for what I want to do. And obviously playing with my team. George, you're the Colossus in our team, and
don't give it away.
Is a bit undecided. But yeah, it's about team builds as well. That's one thing. One thing we do really well is we synergize our team together. We don't have four of everything. We do the same in the Division. We do the same in Destiny. Whenever we are playing games together, our little group synergize our builds to work together. And the Storm just felt like that perfect opportunity to do so many things for me that fitted my playstyle as well. So yeah, I'm a Storm. It's the best. Anyone that says anything otherwise, I will find you, and I have a certain particular set of skills that you might not like. So Storm all the way, yeah.
I am hands down the Storm. There was never ever
you scared him, Pete.
Good man. No, I just knew he was going to say it. That's why I wanted to get.
No, I mean the Storm is that's what I will be rocking for the vast majority of my day one. I do want to learn how to play the Colossus. Currently, my order is Storm, and then I thought the Colossus was going to be my second. But it turns out it's the Interceptor, and I've never played the Speed or the high DPS or the Ninja or whatever, but it's Storm, Interceptor, Ranger, Colossus. I can't play the Colossus. I feel too squishy. Even in the Endgame when I had, George, you know what I'm talking about, with one of those builds where you had like a lot more health and a lot more armor, I didn't feel that major difference. But I need you all to teach me how to play it because I need to be able to make content on Colossus. So, teach me, teachers.
Bags?
I mean, what can I say? I mean, I think the chat knows.
You're thicker than a bowl of oatmeal, Bags.
There you go. No, it's gonna be the Colossus. Like, it takes what? I mean, I'm gonna have to watch the cinematic So that's gonna be what's gonna be keeping me back from my Tick Boy for the most part. The intro, the tutorial is not that hard. I'm just gonna zip through it and go straight into the forge. See, even Steve knows in the chat. I'm going straight into Colossus. I mean, that's going to be the majority, kind of like William said. The majority of the content on my stream is most likely going to be the Colossus. So yeah, I like it.
It's a good choice. Well, we could. So obviously, mostly gameplay you've seen today is of me in my golden Colossus. So yeah. So, but I would also play, I think, Ranger. So for me, it's always about the diversity. So the Storm for me is just, it's a little bit too. There's a lot going on with the Storm, right? You're flying, you've got your abilities, you've got your primers, you've got your detonators and stuff. And you've got the Interceptor, which is just, I'm a big guy, right? I'm 6'2" and 18 stone. The Interceptor I would break. So so Colossus for me is always going to be somewhere close to my heart. But then also the Colossus for me is I think the reason I like the Colossus so much is because he is the true team playing Javelin, right? You've got the Ranger, who has a lot of primer abilities and is a good shooter. You've got the Storm, which is a priming, which is the majority of it's a primer, right? So everything it does is it actually sets the scene for the Colossus to literally come in with a ground pound or come in with its mortar and just wreck, right? So for me, it's like everything just paves the way for the Colossus. So that's why the Colossus for me is it. But I will definitely be jumping into a Ranger quite a lot. Like the Ranger, I think will offer the versatility in the team that a Colossus won't, because we know everyone else is just going to be Storm and Inti anyway. So
for heaven's sake,
they will.
I chat non-stop. Everyone's gonna be.
There's not going to be a shortage of Storm players. I saw it in the demo. Like literally. I did some fashion contests or whatever, and most of the screenshots were like freaking Storm players like flaunting their cape. Like what?
Right, let's just quickly jump into chat. Right, so we've got.
I'll just answer one of these questions, George, from chat. You don't need multiple saves. I can't remember who.
That's where I was. That was Christy Wee, right?
Yeah, so you get to play with friends on any difficulty level, and who So if George was level 2 and I was level 20, I could jump in, help him. He would get loot for his level. I would get loot for my level. So you don't need multiple saves.
No, the difference, the way the game is set up, Christy, is when you actually go out into do an expedition, whether it's a mission or whether it's free play, you choose the level of difficulty for the group at the time. So that's what you choose before you even go in. So it's very different to Destiny, very different to Division or any other games you played. Is you from either the launch bay or Tarsus, you choose the level, either easy, normal. So it's freelancer, hard, and then you've got Grandmaster, and you choose that at the beginning of each expedition. So that's your choice. Jirakita is Interceptor was fun but tended to be disorientated. So yeah, that's what I found. Yeah, you get quite disorientated because you're always close to the ground. What else have we got? We got any other questions in there? Everyone's shouting Colossus, lots of Storm. I can sort of see how this is going. Storm, and then
not everyone's going to be the Storm. They just need to get out of their system and play other things.
Yeah. Look at Christy. So the difficulty will be split between the group or based on the highest level one. No, Christy, you're missing the point. So that you set the difficulty base at the beginning of each mission. So at the beginning of each rollout, you group up together as a team first, and then you set the difficulty level as either easy, medium, hard, or extra hard, extra hard, or hard. There's no balancing of difficulty. You choose a difficulty, and it doesn't matter whether you're level 2 or level 30, you will be playing on hard level. So there's no scaling or in difficulty or anything like that between members in your team. The team leader chooses the difficulty level at the beginning of the level. I hope that makes sense.
So one of Corey's here. Do you guys think we need a call for help option when a player goes down? So there is actually a piece of UI that never made it into the demo.
So you should see that now, actually, in the gameplay that's in. If you look in the left-hand side, you can see the health bar of the rest of the team. So, if,
and that will tell you if someone goes down. If I'm not mistaken, it
does,
tells you when a player's down. It also tells you when their ultimates are ready, what direction they're in, and things like that. So
it just goes to show you that a lot has changed from the demo and a more current build. You've got the compass that tells you where all your friends are at. You've got the downed javelin alert. I mean, a lot has changed. The demo is definitely not the full game.
Derpy McSquirtle. That is an amazing name, by the way. Do you guys think we'll see cross-save at any point in Anthem on Xbox, but my brother on PS4? I'd straight up, mate, I would absolutely love to have cross-saves. I think cross-saves would be fantastic because, as we know with the Division, I play on all three consoles, two consoles, and I play on the PC. Same for Destiny, same for a lot of games, and cross-saving would save me, oh my god, so much time. So yeah, we could. It's not here. We don't have cross-saves. I would love to be able. I would love to say that we did, or that the developers said that they are doing that, but unfortunately they don't.
Yeah. Campbell said that they'll be doing cross-play before they do cross-save.
Yeah, I was going to say, on that note, there was an article as well yesterday, I believe, about EA wanting to bring cross-play to more of its games over this year, so over 2019. They want to bring cross-play to a lot of their games for that exact reason.
By the end of 2019, I see Anthem having cross-play. Not cross-save, but cross-play.
Oh, someone clip that. Right. Chris, so can we replay all story missions if I want to play them with another friend? Whoever friend, you need to join on them, and they can't have played that story mission for you to replay it, because once you've done the story mission, you can't go back to it until I think it's Endgame where you get the options to replay those. But most of the story arc, if you want to replay them with a friend that hasn't played them, you need to join on them, not them join on you.
Bags, that is an almighty bottle.
Yeah, it's my Colossus water jug.
It's his man-child beaker.
George, we need one. We need one of them for the Friday night streams. You imagine that full of beer?
Yeah. All right, guys. Look, we're coming up to the 2-hour mark. We are definitely coming up to the 2-hour mark, and it's actually been an absolute pleasure talking to all three of you. Like, I didn't anticipate it lasting that quickly. So what we're gonna do is just quickly do a quick sound off round. I'm also at the end. There's been quite a few requests during chat to play the video that you see in loop, which is the Heart of Rage. It's a story. It is a bit of lore video, and you can find it. It's not a spoiler. It's historic. It's something about history that Yarrow is telling you. So we're going to play that as part of the end credits, and you'll actually see this video when you're about less than 30 minutes actually into the game anyway. But I know it's a bit of pre-release, so we've been able to release as part of Game Changers. Look, we've been able to release that as part of the Game Changers. Money! Pass me the money! So Pete, where can we find you? What do you do? And
I am sitting in a chair in a house in Cornwall. No, that's not what you meant, is it? Yeah, guys, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, P3T3TT. I am pretty much the same anywhere. If you guys are playing on PC, feel free to add us up as well. We're going to be doing a lot of play sessions through Anthem. We're going to be streaming. I think the servers go live at 10:30 p.m. on Thursday night for us. And I aim to be live with the beautiful binary, and possibly Bagsy or other people that are free as well. We'll be getting a team together to blast out the story. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, which I use occasionally when I have the time, and YouTube being my priority. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I play games.
I play games.
William,
I talk about them. Well, I am on YouTube as Your Anthem. I will be covering literally every facet of Anthem: lore, gameplay, discussion, builds, guides, you know it, you name it, we'll be doing it. You can find me on Twitch as Your Anthem. You can find me on Twitter as Anthem Your.
You need to change that.
Look, I want that asshole who took my Your Anthem 8 years ago and never posted a damn thing. Damn you, Twitter, for not releasing that tag already. I will change eventually. And yeah, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. That's where I am.
Fantastic. Bags.
Guess it's my turn. AI Bags, AI_Bags over on Twitch. Anthem Insiders on Twitter and YouTube. Those might be, and never mind. Those, you'll find me there. You'll find all the links to like our Discord and everything. I don't update, I don't post regular videos on YouTube, kind of like William does, or Pete. I do upload the VODs though from the gameplay streams and anything that's very important. So you'll find it there. The focus is on Twitch, 100%. It's going to be on a live stream, playing with viewers, things like that. So I'll be very glad to see you guys in the chat.
Fantastic.
And I just want to say, dude, it was awesome.
Oh, mate, it's been
thank
brilliant.
you guys so much.
Just as a... Sorry, George.
No, go on, mate, you go.
I was just going to say one quick question to guys in chat. Just a very simple yes or no question, because it's something that I want to talk to George about later. But as the Anthem universe side of it, how would you guys like to see more content on the Anthem universe side? Like, would you like to see 24-hour streams pretty much on their channel? Just a question why you've got so many people in chat.
Is that for me or for people in chat?
That's for people in chat. Yeah, like how would you like to see, you know, at the Anthem universe team actually being able to put out a lot more stuff?
As someone who watches this stuff regularly, I mean, you could
I don't think George is gonna handle the 24-hour stream. He said
24 hours with lots of cocaine and Red Bull.
Yeah, it will
what the hell
probably
was
be.
that? Oh my god.
Right, so look, guys, I want to thank you. Like, Bags, it's your birthday. You spent more time with us than we had than your own family on your birthday. So thank you very much, man.
Happy birthday! I kind of want to
appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Then we also
I'm gonna
got
be streaming on my own channel after this.
And then we've also got Pete. Thank you, my brother. You're a close friend, and it's been a pleasure doing this with you. And we should definitely do more of them. William, as always, it's great to see your face for once rather than actually just some gameplay, which is great. Everybody, so I am Binary, but I'm also Anthem Universe. So Binary is obviously my personal gamer name, but Anthem Universe is for all those that are new. There's we do weekly shows. We be doing as much streaming as possible as well. As you see up in the middle of the screen, we are doing a giveaway in conjunction with Extreme Console and there's a digital design for your chance to win one of those controllers, where you can choose either Xbox or PS4 in one of those 4 designs. Right, so make sure you chap into that. I appreciate every single one of you for dropping in and sort of making the community what is the community, right? We are 4 different communities here, but really we are one community.
Amen.
And so just appreciate everything that you do, and we will see you. We'll see you next when we're over the wall. Actually, I'm going to play you that video now, so stick around for 5 minutes if you want to watch this video on the Heart of Rage.
Peace out, all you fantastic.
And thank you, Division, for coming and stopping in, because if George didn't notice, the official Division guys were in here.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like...
I wasn't going to call them out in case Ubisoft were like, this is a bit odd.